All right, guys, I am here with Alan Liu, who managed to get, was it six, Alan, you were at the regionals?
Eighth,
Eight?
eighth.
Okay. Well, he bubbled into top eight with a record of 5-1. I think your only loss was to Time Rules, which was a bit rough, but he took one of the decks I don't think I ever expected to see make a top eight, which was the pre-release leader we got from this set, the Babidi, AOD ish. I have no clue what this deck does, so I'm gonna let Alan take it away and explain to everyone what this deck does. So take it away, Alan.
Thanks, Max. So I played this Babidi leader. Yeah, it's a new pre-release leader from set 20. So, essentially, it doesn't really play any of the AOD battle cards because it's just not designed for that. It's basically playing the Boo package because I think that this deck essentially does what Boo wants to do, but better, and I'll explain why. So on the front side, I'll go through like the main engine I use for this deck because like most people probably wouldn't have seen this stuff before. So on the front side, he on attack he draws one and takes up to one life, and it awakens at five or less life. It's a draw and untap one leader. So the front side's not too great, but the backside is actually a lot stronger. So the backside, he's got Overlord once per turn. Um, Permanent, he reduces he treats Agent of Destruction cards in your Z deck as if they have no specified costs, and reduces their Z energy cost and regular energy cost by one. So that essentially means that this Vegeta, which came out with the pre-release packs, only costs two regular energy and one Z energy, which is insanely good. Because this card is it's like an include the people include it just as like just for just to have the option of barrier removal as well as like critical attacks in normal yellow decks. But if you're paying one less energy and one less Z energy, it makes it so much better. Um, it has an order which says on attack discard one card from your hand. When this card attacks, draw one card. So on attack discard one, draw one. Um, so this might look like it doesn't really go plus on the backside, but this deck has a lot of boos that essentially play themselves when they're discarded by a boo or Babidi skill, and because of Overlord, it essentially makes up for that. And the main reason to play this deck is this card's Activate Main, where once per turn you choose up to two of your Margin and/or AAOD cards, and they gain Servant. So that's a net total of 20k power across your battle cards, and more if you're putting on dual attackers, which we normally will be for this skill. So the only relevant AOD you're using this effect on is this Vegeta, comes out for which comes out for very cheap. So this is like quite commonly will be a 30k dual attacker and will sometimes also have critical. So I'll just go with the Z deck first because it relates quite more closely with this leader. I played two copies of this. I don't have a third one. I'd consider running a third one of this, but I just didn't have the third one. I ran one Evolved Defender because it's a Goku. It's a pretty solid barrier card, but I never played him today because there was never really a need. I was able to kill my opponents before the game got too late in pretty much all of the games. The one Oolong because it's Oolong, and then we play this Boozy card. So these three cards are kind of like they're pretty important in the Boo deck. So how this normally works is this is a card you play, so he costs two energy and one Z. So it's normally you like on turn one you normally play a cantrip, you combo it off, and then you play this card. So this card has deflect, Z stack two one cost boost. So you'll be stacking these two cards, and he has activate main limit one where you discard any number of margin cards from your hand, and this card he gains power equal to the combo power of the discarded cards. And additionally, if he's at 20k or more power, he gains dual attack and you draw one card. Um, uh, and for these little cards that he stacks this Boo Heart of Evil gives the card above him barrier, and this one gives him protection from KO once per turn. So obviously the barrier is really handy. The protection on KO can be handy. It is handy, but it doesn't make it invincible because if you leave him in rest mode, he'll be a 10k, and if your opponent swings into him twice, it can die, and you normally don't want him dying. So the main reason we like playing this package with this leader is because um, in the Boo deck, there's only one card that exists with 10k combo power. So if you're playing this in the Boo deck, you have to like if you don't discard a card like a Boo card with 10k combo power, you're essentially going like a -1 to hand because you only get the draw if he gains a minimum of 10k power. But but combined with this leader skill to give it 7, you can essentially discard any Boo and still get the draw one and still get the draw one and dual attack. So that makes it a free cycle, and a lot of these Boos have effects when they're discarded. Um, and so with this leader, he becomes like essentially like a minimum of 25k dual attacker, and that's generally that would generally be staying alive on the board, and that's very threatening. So because we're playing a barrier Z card, which generally tends to stick, we play some of the new Z support cards. So these are just the 2 medical and a gate, and the 3 Goku Universe stakes. They're just great cards. Like you'll see them around more, so I won't go into too much detail for them. In terms of the actual Boo package, so we play uh 4 of each of the Boo cantrips. So this one is just a simple on play draw one. So on play from hand draw one, and this one is on play from hand look at top 7, and add up to 1/6 cost or less Boo from among them to your hand. These guys also have an extra effect where if it's discarded by a Boo or Babidi skill, whilst your leader is a Boo or Babidi, limit 1, you can play it from the drop. So obviously it won't trigger the on play draw one or the on play search top 7 if it's played from the drop, but it essentially means that if you were to discard this card, discarded via this card skill, it freely plays itself out. So it's essentially like a free Z energy. We played these guys at 4 each because it gives you it gives you a turn 1 play, and it's just a good way to pump up the power of this Boo, and you genuinely always want to have targets to discard for them. The next card we play is 4 copies of Majin Buu Control Magic. This card is amazing for the deck. It gives you a little bit of free play, and so what it does is when he's discarded by your leader's skill, if your leader's a Babidi card, so it only works for this leader. He's one of the new TPs. He can play himself out. So it's similar to this. It's similar to these Boos. His second order is not relevant for this deck, and his third order is pretty neat, where when he attacks with Servant, he gets to draw 1 card. So this actually turns your leader's backside into like almost like a +2, where if you swing with him, you discard him to draw 1 card. So that's kind of like that's a +0. You give him Servant, you swing with him, he draws 1, and then you overrun away to draw another card. So that's like a net +2. And this is also like a free 15k, a free 15k attacker. It does make sequencing a bit awkward in the sense that like you can be punished by more like mid battle effects such as like the realm of the gods that can like tap it down or like bottom deck it. But it's just something you have to get used to if you're playing this deck. We then played 2 copies of this Boo Nightmarish Glimpse. So I just run him just as an extra Boo target because I don't like whiffing off this card, and it's also just nice to. He's also removal. He doesn't come up too often, but it's always nice to have removal options and extra Boo targets to discard. So what he does is when he's discarded again by a Boo or Babidi skill, you can tap 1, play him out. He's a 15k body, so essentially if you discard him with him, he's essentially like a cantrip because you're tapping 1, playing him out, and he would have drawn you the card already. He has a nice activate main where you can discard a Boo, any number of Boo cards from your hand. He gains combo power equal to the combo power of the discarded cards, and you also carry 1 of your opponent's cards in rest mode, so any of their cards. So it's just extra removal, which never hurts. And then for the final Boo, we play 3 copies of this 8-drop. For all yellow decks, it's just a 1 energy 30k double strike. With this leader, it can go up to 40k because you can give it Servant and overlord it away. And it has that extra skill where if it's discarded by a Boo or Babidi skill, you can tap 1 of your opponent's battle cards down. So it's pretty handy to tap a card down if you want to kill it. But this deck, compared to other decks like Trunks Jit or Golden Freezer or other yellow decks in general, doesn't really need to worry too much about resting cards in order to kill them because you have this Vegeta, where you've just for one Z energy and two energy, you can just kill a card. And if it's in rest mode, you get the bonus critical. I only run 3 of this because it's still a 10k combo, but it's pretty good to see after turn 4 and beyond. And also you can just discard him to turn this guy into like a 30k dual attacker, which is pretty good. Then we play 4 copies of this Vegeta. This Vegeta's great. You can play him if you're a Babidi leader. It's just a 1 energy, 25k, draw 1, can potentially be double strike. You can also, he's got Servant, so you can also overload him away. So let's say if you didn't have this, or let's say if you like drew 1, took a life, and then awakened, you can still, he becomes like a net +2 because also like he becomes like a on play like draw 2 almost because the leader can just overload him away. It's just a great card to have. And then I guess for the rest of the deck, that's essentially it for the Boo package. The rest of the deck is just your good yellow staples, your forward pass, your 2 swift retaliation coolers. I run 3 Vegetas because I think that getting Z energy, like it's really similar to Riposte. I think that Riposte is easier to I often find that like getting 2 Z energy, you have to actively combo cards, and a lot of times you don't want to just neg yourself just to turn this thing on. So I think 3 is a good amount for this thing. 2 secret IDs, best, essentially like the most versatile and probably the best overarm at the moment. And then 3 Krillin super combos and Piccolo Gohan. There's an argument you can make for like running the Goku super combo so that this Vegeta gains double strike, but I think I just prefer like being able to like dig through more of my deck, so that's why I chose Krillin. And then we run 9 extra cards. So it's just 1 time magic, 1 final flash, 2 tyrannical blow, pass, realm, and 3 block negates. Yeah, this is like for the extra cards, you can just essentially choose whatever you want for which particular matchup. Tyrannical Blow is pretty good into the blue and yellow matchups for all the like cheap floodgates. But yeah, um, so that's the main deck. And in terms of side deck, I sided 3 Gohan unisons. This didn't really come up, but it was just like more of like if I was playing like it's like a really slow deck like Golden Freezer, who essentially where you don't want to swing at them too much. This is the best way to accrue value and threaten them with it's a good way to threaten them with like a triple strike attack. And also your deck, like the threats in your deck don't really cost too much energy. Like this card is free. This card normally lives unless it's getting smoked, and all the other cards are just like cheap one energy plays. So you will normally have a lot of energy left. So yeah, this is just for like the really slow matchups. I probably cut him down to 2 because he didn't come up too much. I ran a few 1-drops. So basically, if these were relevant in the matchup, I'd probably cut down 1 copy of this Boo and put these in. So they're just like silver bullets for like Android 21 and Golden Freezer. I was pretty tight on cyberspace, so I only put 1 of them each. This deck has a decent amount of draw power, so you can dig through your deck quite a lot. 1 extra medical negate. This was for like the aggro decks, and it came in pretty handy against Red Sin. I negated like 1 triple strike and another attack where he would have like used the active battle of the 8-drop to neg something. Extra cooler for again, there's more controlling matchups and also like blue matchups. 1 divine transformation, again, same thing. 2 copies of Koitsukai. This is just again really good in the mirror. Won me a Trunks Jeter mirror. Oh no, sorry, no, like won me a game against Trunks Jeter. Also good against punishing Clo tokens against Android 21. 2 Smoke is just good generic side card. Good against Unison decks like decks that are cheap 2-cost Unison like Gamma, SS4, Gogeta, and also quite good against this thing as well if you really want to clear it. 2 Nimbus, because I'm scared of Koitsukai, and also good against aggro decks like Sin, Kai, and the 1 release from Evil if I ever sided the Unisons up. If I ever sided the Unisons in. So that's my sideboard.
Damn. Okay. Well, I'm essentially speechless. That was just sitting through that. I'm thinking, do I have the cards to build this? Because that it is a very cool deck you've made, Alan. So first of all, congratulations for doing so well of it and thinking outside of this box for this deck that I don't think anyone saw coming out and actually doing well. So yeah, big congratulations for that. Just quickly, what were your matchups for the day?
Round one was Android 18. I don't think I remember too much of that. I think I've eventually just outvalued him and managed to win from there. Round two against Spirit on Vegeta, that was the time loss, unfortunately. I guess what happened there was just like we were kind of just floodgating each other with Riposte and Vegito, and then I didn't really see Cooler to like stop his floodgates to push through. I think I had more cards in hand and like a much bigger board. I was on 4 life, he was on 3, but then he had his Spirit Bomb charged up, and then he went all in on a double strike. Like he Cooler countered my negate and went all in with his leader swing. And a Piccolo Gohan SCR to push me from 4 to 2, and then time was called, so that was unfortunate. I think round three was against a Trunks Jeter. I guess what really helped me was Koitsukai. So I think I Koitsukai and he decided to I think either play a Riposte or a Vegito through that, and then I hit that with a tyrannical blow as well. So
That's
it was
nasty.
so yeah, so it was a bit nasty. It was a neg 3. He didn't get the floodgate effect, and then essentially I just like swung massive attacks because like into him because this thing was like a sorry this thing was like a 35k because I discarded a bunch of boos. This thing just went 35 drill and like I had an overwhelm and like the Universe Goku who was also swinging 30s. It was just too much to him to combo out of. Round four was against Red Sin. I think my opponent got a little bit unlucky. It was Jimmy James from PX3. Shout out to him. He got a bit unlucky. He went first, but he didn't get the turn to awaken. So so he didn't. So I guess like he didn't have too much pressure early on, and I was able to stabilize with the help of this to negate a triple strike attack. And then in this matchup, this thing came in really handy because it just killed his A drop and then just like swung crit at him and burned through super combos in his hand. And I eventually actually managed to take him from 5 to 0 in one turn, and that felt pretty good.
Damn.
Because yeah, I was hitting pretty tall with my guys.
Yeah, that's cool.
The next round was I can't remember the next round. It was actually there was a Beerus reboot in there somewhere. Yeah, I think I played against Beerus reboot. I'm not sure if it was before or after the Sin, but I think what happened there was he floodgated me. I swung through the floodgate. I actually swung 4 times through his like one of his bottom deck 1 floodgates, but I was swinging like big 30k attacks with like this card and the Universe Goku. So he ended up taking the attacks, and then that pushed him down to low enough life where it was too dangerous, where I eventually managed to win it.
Yeah, nice.
And I think the last round was against Android 21. That was a bit of a grind. I think I was lucky to go first, and I think I stopped his ramp with the tyrannical blow, but managed to grind it out from there because with my decently sized attacks. So yeah.
Yeah, damn. Very, very cool. I guess a couple of quick questions. How many times did your opponent ask what your leader did?
I think no one knew what this leader did. Actually, I was
Always,
I didn't. No one knew what this leader did.
always good coming into an event and everyone having to ask what your leader does. Well, thanks a bunch, Alan, for doing this and sharing your amazing spice with everyone. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah, shout out to my brother for the testing. Shout out to you for all the work you've done and all the all the chats we've had. Shout out to my opponents and also to TAC for hosting a great event.
Yeah, sweet. Well, thanks a bunch, Alan. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you guys next time. See ya.